Good morning, everyone. I'm joined this morning by Jodi Schultz from the mortgage broker with the Source Mortgage Center in Central Alberta. They are a Dominion lending franchise. Today, Jodi, I'd like to pose a question about Purchase Plus mortgage. We've covered a number of different mortgage types in the past, but I'd like to talk specifically today about Purchase Plus. Can you enlighten us?
Yeah, I love the Purchase Plus Improvements mortgage, Susan, and I think it's very underutilized for lots of reasons. So just to clarify for those who haven't heard that term before, a Purchase Plus Improvements mortgage is one where you finance both the purchase of the home as well as some permanent renovations that you would like to do to your home at the time of purchasing it. And the reason this is important is because for most people who purchase homes with less than 20% down payment, standard being maybe 5 to 10% down, it takes about 8 to 10 years to build up enough equity in your property to be able to refinance it, because any mortgage lender will not refinance your home until you have a minimum of 20% equity. And if you've only put 5 or 10% down to start, it's going to take some time for you to pay down that mortgage and for your home to be increasing in value, hopefully, for you to have equity to pull it out to do the reno. And so what does often make better sense rather than waiting 10 years down the road is to build in the cost of some renovations up front. And that can be anything that's permanent. So new flooring, new tiling in your kitchen, new cabinetry, renovating bathrooms, doing decks, doing fences, anything that's a permanent improvement you can add. There is no additional rate charge for doing that. So it's the same rates that you would get. And almost all lenders allow you to do that. And so the way that you would go about doing it is when you're at that stage of purchasing a home, you will also want to have a contractor or contractors come into the home and give you quotes for the work that you wish to have done. And you submit that to your mortgage lender saying, I would like to also do this work at the same time. And then they will approve that for you. And then once you take possession of the home, the lawyer actually gets the money for the renovation in their trust account. Yep. And the lawyer will only release that once the work is completed. So it is important that the clients do find a contractor who's okay to wait to be paid until the work is completed. Otherwise, you may have to pay for it up front and then get reimbursed. So just to be aware of all that, I think most contractors are okay to do that with a little bit of a deposit up front. And the reason I love it so much, like I said, because most people just don't have the equity for 10 years or 8 to 10 years. But also you add instant value to your home. Like instantly when you move in, you've now increased the value of your property right away. And again, most people just don't have the funds to be able to do that. And just to give you an idea, like adding, say, $30,000 to your mortgage is not going to increase payments by very much. And this is a great strategy too, with today's market being very much a seller's market where there's limited inventory. Right. I'm finding a lot of buyers find, maybe it's the right neighborhood and it has the right number of bedrooms, but it's missing, the basement's not developed, or it doesn't have a garage on the property, but there's space to build one. Well, you need to think outside the box. And can I do these improvements myself? Or obviously with the help of a contractor, then that's something that shouldn't prevent you from purchasing the home, but rather you want to speak to your lender about doing the Purchase Plus improvements so you can get that house to work for you rather than continuing to try to find a house that doesn't exist because there's not much inventory out there.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even when we do have a lot of inventory, often the perfect house doesn't exist. There's still going to be something that you're going to need to tweak.
Totally. And also the other thing to keep in mind, hopefully your realtor knows, is things that you find on inspection, because a lot of people don't have the money. So let's say your home, we find out in the inspection, it needs a new roof or a new furnace. That's not something, maybe the seller is willing to drop the price of your home by $5,000, but that doesn't mean you have $5,000 cash on hand to do these improvements. Exactly. So again, that's something you can add to your mortgage in order to allow you to get those improvements done. And it can be for things that are not necessarily cosmetic, like a furnace, a hot water tank, a roof, new siding. We can do it for stuff like that too. So I do think it's an underutilized product and one that most people should just be doing it up front because, it doesn't change payments by very much. And otherwise it's going to be quite a while until you have enough equity to do that.
Right. Well, that's great advice. Thanks so much, Jodi.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have questions on anything mortgage related, give Jodi a call. Her information is scrolling right now at the bottom of the screen, and she really is a wealth of information. So thanks for joining us today, Jodi, and have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks so much, Susan. Take care.